So in this video we're going to be in search of relics from a mine site from the late 1800s that stretched into the 1920s. This site was brought to my attention by reading through some of local historian and author Lachlan Weatherall's blog posts online, and also his posts in the Lambton Local. If you're local in the Newcastle area, you'll probably know about this monthly publication. In there you can find Lachlan's local history write-ups. So the mine site consisted of a dam, an engine house and a mine shaft up on the hill. The engine house was erected in 1878, and in 1904 it was damaged due to fire, so the entire thing was rebuilt. And then in 1921 they extracted the majority of the coal, and the engine house was dismantled and the site's use was discontinued. Since then the site has completely overgrown, and then in the early stages of 2015 Lachlan was able to pinpoint plausible locations on Google Maps, and then went out to explore each of these locations. Finally he was able to rediscover the location of Paddy Lewis, which is also known as Nellie's Glen or Glen Lewis. Lachlan's put a heap of research into this and put that on his website, which I'll leave a link below in the description if you're interested in reading that after this video. Right, so to start off, I met up with Lachlan and his son on Friday the 12th of July. We had a bit of a search around. I did bring the Detector in, only brought some light gear, no camera gear or anything, and we had a bit of a scout around the engine house. Alright, so we stayed in there for about an hour, and then 2 days later on Sunday, I headed back in with some more gear, and we're going to spend a full day in there, swinging the Detector around different sites. Alright, so to start off, we headed into the bushland, and I thought best place to start is the mine shaft. So yeah, let's head into the bush now and see what we can find. So in that photo of Paddy Lewis, Lachlan mentions that there's some wires coming out of the engine house which would be going to the shaft. So on Friday he showed me where he rediscovered this shaft from the early 20th century. The engine house is just that way, the ropes are going that way, so it's in that direction. So yeah, let's go check that out and have a swing around the edge of the shaft. Maybe one of the miners dropped something there 100 and something years ago. So let's go check it out. So as I just said in that clip there were steel cables coming out from the engine house, and that's what led Lachlan onto the side of the shaft. Alright, here it is. Now obviously it's filled in a bit since the early 1900s when it was being used, but you can still see there's a massive indent in the ground. So you can see that tree is right at the bottom there. It's hard to tell because everything looks the same in the bush, but that's probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 meters down. So yeah, let's have a detector around and around the edge here. I'm not going in it because I might die. Alright, so I'm getting a signal here. It's 83, bouncing up to 90. And then this side direction, it's a 75, and then it bounces down to 6. So it could have a bit of iron in it, or there could just be a bit of natural mineralization in the ground since we are next to a coal mine. I knocked back the leaf litter and 1 layer of dirt, and the signal's still down there. So it is not just topsoil. So it is saying it's only 5 centimeters down, so we'll probably just need 1 scoop of dirt and we'll have it. Oh, there it is there. It looks like a big old washer, massive one. That could be related to the site or not, I'm not sure. We'll have to look into that some more later. Anyway, I'll fill in this hole and I'll keep on going. Alright guys, so we could possibly have something good. I found a signal up here. It was sounding pretty good. I dug it out. I looked down and I can see something around there. And it wasn't coming up as like a signal of a 10-cent coin. So this could be a pre-decimal. Yeah, it looks like it's got a bit of a hole in it, so it's probably going to be oh no, it's a shotgun shell. Probably the oldest thing we've got today. But we are getting a 80 signal. And the mine shaft is just up the hill there, about 20-30 meters. Right, it's in this area here. It's in my hand. Yep, I don't know what that is. Kind of seems like the shape of a bale seal or a, I don't know, a fishing sinker or a pistol ball that's been flattened out. Pretty interesting. It's got a bit of a ridge around the outside. Anyways, it's a pretty interesting find. we'll keep on going and I'll let you know if there's anything else. Getting another signal here, about 3 meters away from that last one. And looks to be something modern, but yeah. Oh, it's a dog identification tag. Yeah, new one. Alright guys, I think we're onto something. I can see silver in the hole. It's right next to the massive mine shaft. It is there. Look at that. Alright, let's crack it open. Oh yeah. That's, yeah, for sure. That's a George V, I'm pretty sure. You can see the crest on it. Very nice. 1917, that's right in the date range as well. Oh, that's great. Look at that. That's right in the range this mine was used. So that is great evidence of this mine shaft being in use. Alright, so about 4 meters from that 3 pence, I just got this bullet. Looks to be a pistol bullet, and that's an older one as well because it hasn't got a copper jacket, and it has been fired, as you can see. It's got 2 rings around it, so I'm not sure where that would have been fired from, but that's still pretty cool. And I'm still gonna mark that one's GPS location, and then we'll keep on going. Alright guys, now we're gonna head up that way just behind you and check out the dam wall and the dam that's still there, and yeah, check out where the photographer stood over 100 years ago to take that photo. Let's go check it out. Alright, so from there I headed around to the edge of the dam, of what was left of the dam, and set the detector up and got that running. Now the whole idea of this project was to first of all confirm Lachlan's research, because yeah, this mine hasn't been in use since the early 20s, and to uncover some relics which told the mining history of Newcastle and Lambton in particular. And then I was expecting just some small relics and that kind of thing that would be donated to either a historical society or the university or a museum of some kind. But I found items that were a lot larger than I anticipated, and as you'll see in the upcoming clips, it really does showcase what went on at this site and prove Lachlan's theory. So yeah, let's get back into the digging. Alright, so I'm just now detecting along this flat area here, which goes all the way around the dam, which is right here. This could possibly have been the walkway, well probably the walkway, from where the photographer was up to the engine house, which was up that way. Got a signal here. So it's 50s, 60s and 70s, which does indicate that it probably is a bit of junk. And it is 5 centimeters under, but you never know. Oh, there it is there. Another shotgun shell. 12 gauge by the looks of it. So I'll mark down this location here, and we'll keep on going. Very nice. Alright, so from there I continued heading along that flat path, and there were quite a few small iron signals which you'd expect at a mine site. But then I came across a really large signal, which was interesting. In the middle of the bush, you don't usually get huge signals unless you're at an industrial site like we're at now. And this was a big signal bouncing up high into the 80s, and then this big huge ant mound next to it, which I could see going to the ground. So I had to be very careful not to disturb these ants because they were pretty big ants. So anyway, let's get into this clip and see what it is. Alright guys, it looks like I've uncovered a massive wheel, but in doing that I opened up a huge ant nest, and they're big ants. Look at them. So that could be, what I'm thinking that is, because it's got a bit of an indent in it, is what had that steel cable on it, which was going into the shaft, which would be an amazing, if that's what it is, that would be an amazing bit of history. Get everything out of the way, and then try and get it up without disturbing these ants too much, without damaging it or the ant's nest. I'm going to try and lift it up without getting bitten. Yep. Alright guys, so what this seems to be is a bit of a pulley wheel. As you can see, there's an indent in the center of the wheel there, which is probably where the steel cable went around, which would be used to operate the mine shaft. Now, why this is 30 meters, 50 meters away from the actual engine room, I have no idea, but that is actually an amazing relic. That one relic right there basically tells the whole story of the site and what went on here. Yeah, that's actually amazing. Yeah, I'll leave that there for now and let these ants get back into their hole. Alright, as you could tell from my excitement in that last clip, I was very pleased with that find, as it really does, as I said, showcase what went on at this site. and the mining activities that were happening throughout Newcastle at that time.
Alright, there's where I dug that wheel. I walked about a metre, got a big long iron signal, and I thought, this is going to be the cable. And guess what? In here, a massive bit of steel cable. We got 3 bits wrapped around. That's actually amazing, which is weird. We've got the cable here, we've got the pulley. So I don't know whether there was another shaft this way that we don't know about, or what this means. It's going to be interesting to see once I lay out the coordinates of all these finds on Google Maps. I think we've got another coin just over here, and it looks to be a copper coin, possibly a halfpenny. All right, so it's just down here. Oh yeah, there it is, just in the hole. All right, so here it is here. It wasn't a coin, it's a shotgun shell. I can see some writing on that, so that's very cool. All right, so it looks like we've made it to the site where the photograph was taken all those years ago. So I'm gonna get that photo out now, try and position this camera up just like the old photographer had. So there's the original photograph, and all these years later, you can only just see where the dam was, and then up on the hill there is where the engine house would have been. That's actually amazing. You can still see where the dam is, and it's still really damp in here. There's still quite a bit of moisture and like reeds and stuff growing, and ferns. So yeah, that's actually really cool that we're able to do this, and big thank you to Lachlan for all of the research he put into this site, which allowed us to uncover these relics. Yeah, you can see this hill here is right there. That's just amazing. There was someone standing right here over 100 years ago taking a photo. Alright guys, so I think we're going to slowly head back up that way around here, and then maybe try up the end, just at the end of the dam there. So just over there behind this bush where we looked at that photo, just further down, a few 22 casings, and I've just found the first rifle shell here, which actually looks to be a blank, which is odd. I don't know why you'd be shooting blanks in the bush. Yeah, see, it's a blank. About the size of a 303, maybe a bit smaller. And right next to that rifle cartridge, I actually found the projectile to one of the 22 casings, which is very small. I'm surprised the detector actually picked it up. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So I'm going to start heading back along there now and see if we can find anything else. Alright, so the bush is winning the battle once again. But in this hole here, we've got a big signal in the 50s. Just pulled out this out of the hole. That's an old top of a wine bottle, possibly. But yeah, that looks pretty old, nice thick glass. Okay, a few more shovels in. I've got a bit of charcoal there and some glass. So this could possibly be a rubbish pit of some kind, because they would have had to dump their rubbish somewhere. Yeah, there's another bit of glass just there. A massive ball of iron. By the looks of it, looks like a massive cannonball. But yeah, I got no idea what that is. We're gonna have to dig that out and see what it is. All right, it's been about 20 minutes. I've worked around it, as you can see. There was a little bit of a clip on there that was stuck in some really tough clay. I finally got it loose, so we can find out what that is. Oh, actually, I don't know how these mine shafts operated, but they could have had a weight on the opposite end as like a counterweight, which is, oh, that's just amazing for that.
Alright, so at first, this big steel ball confused me. I really had no idea what it was. I didn't know whether it was some kind of weight similar to a piston in a combustion engine or something. So I sent a photo of this iron ball off to Lachlan when I was there at the site, and he got back saying that it was possibly from the steam engine centrifugal governor. I'll throw a photo of that up on the screen just there, which is what it is. So that's another part of the engine from the engine house, which once again completely backs up Lachlan's research. And so that's just awesome. From these relics that we've just uncovered from the ground, we've been able to prove what this site once was, now that it's basically almost completely overgrown.
This is just amazing, actually. The amount of large relics that are just in here, scattered. This is 15 meters from the last section. So it's like they just pulled it apart and dumped it everywhere. It just doesn't make any sense.
So from there, I recorded the GPS location, and then we kept on going along the path. And then the next find is something right from in the date range once again. It's just amazing to hold these bits of history that have been lost in the ground for almost 100 years. They've been sitting there in the bush for almost 100 years, and being able to uncover these items and tell the story of what they once were.
Alright, so just in front of that tree is where we found that wheel before. Working our way back, and what have I got here? I just quickly popped out a bit of soil. It's coming up in the 80s. It's sounded really nice. It looks like we put a sixpence there, which is awesome. Oh yep, I can see George V there already. There's his head sticking through the hole. 1921 sixpence in very good condition. That's right around the time that this stopped being used. And it seems in very good condition, so I'm not going to rub it too much. I'll clean it up later, gently. Yeah, it looks like it could have just been the year it was lost, 1921. Anyways, that's right along this flat path here. Alrighty, so to reflect on the finds, I thought we'll come out here to Kooragang Island. So this is what coal mining is in the 21st century, in contrast to what it was late 19th, early 20th century here. This wheel that we have here, or pulley, basically completely proves Lachlan's research correct. And as to where these finds are going, I wasn't expecting to find such large finds. I thought it was going to be smaller finds, and we're just going to donate that to either a historical society or a local museum. I'm not sure whether they'll take something so large, but I'm definitely going to try and pass that on so it can stay within the community, hopefully be seen by other people that are interested. And this just adds to the story of the mining history of Newcastle. Yeah, that's just amazing. This was in that engine house that's pictured from the early 1900s, and that's just amazing. Okay, so from here, the next step is to map out all of the finds on Google Maps. Every time I found an item, I would mark its GPS location, so I'm able to overlay that over a map, and that will give us a better idea of the entire site.
Alright guys, so with metal detecting, we usually come across finds. Most of the time, you can't tell the exact story. Sometimes you can. I found this fork at a United States amphibious training camp in Queensland, and you can basically tell the whole story of this, but you can never find out why it's twisted or anything like that. So no matter what you find, you can't tell the whole story. With this site, you basically can. You can basically tell the whole story of all these finds that we're digging up, and that's just amazing. Lachlan's research and these finds put together are just creating a whole story within itself. So anyways, I put the longitude and latitude coordinates of every one of these finds onto a map, and then created a key. And then if I overlay the original map of the site over the top, you can see where the dam is, where the engine house is, and then where the shaft is. And this visual representation really just helps put into perspective what all these finds mean to the site and how they could have been lost. Alright guys, so this is part one of a two-part series. The second part, we're going to be cleaning and preserving the finds, in particular the steel finds, because they're going to have the rust removed, and then some way to preserve them from rusting further. And then the other section of part two will be donating these finds to some kind of society, museum, university, I don't know, somewhere where these finds can stay within the community and possibly be seen by members of the community, because these really just show the importance that coal mining had on the Newcastle community in the early 20th century, late 19th century. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for that. You can subscribe or however you want to be notified if you're interested in seeing part two. I'll also put a link in the comments once that actually comes out. And also, go check out Lachlan's website. He's got plenty of articles of lots of Newcastle's history. And also, if you're local to the Newcastle region, as I was saying earlier in the video, check out The Local, as Lachlan always has something interesting to write about, and you can always learn something new about the past, which is always helpful and interesting. So, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, I'll see you on the next episode. See you guys.